Hello and welcome to a new tutorial in the series of the Beginner's Guide to Custom Art. In this episode we will go through tile sets, and I will teach you how simple it is to make small edits that will really make a difference. First of all, just change the maximum numbers of tile sets to a higher number than 6, because 6 is what it is originally in RPG Maker MSet and MV, I believe. And you can of course do like I do here and just differentiate the RTP ones that you get with the engine and the ones you create on your own. And then just copy the outside tile set. And the reason for doing that is that the RTP tile sets already have built in what you can walk above, what you can't walk on, and what you can walk behind. So if the stars meaning walk behind, the cross means cannot walk on, and the circle means you can walk above it. And we will edit all of these images. The B one usually represents objects and trees or rocks and whatever, and we will start with that one. So memorize outside B and then go to the game folder, locate the image folder, and then tile sets. Now search for outside B, because we will start making new trees. And when you've located the image, open the image in your photo editing software. I recommend still that you use GIMP 2 for this tutorial, as that's the software I am using. I recommend that you change all of these images into custom art, so you can just change them out one by one until every image is made by you. Or you could even just edit them, as I showed you in the last episode, with filters or just color edits. So, every tileset image needs to be the exact same size as the image we are editing here. So, you don't need to worry about making an image in the wrong size when you just edit an image that already exists within the engine. And remember to change the grid to 48 by 48 and then click View or Show Grid. So, when you are making objects, you don't necessarily need to make them within one grid. A tree, for instance, would be 4 grids. Well, at least this tree. You can make one in 2 or 1 if you like, maybe a small bush or whatever. But you are more freely able to decide how big objects and tilesets should be than you are with the characters. Unless you use plugins, of course. And if you don't want to draw the trees on your own, you can do what I am doing here, just using the smudge tool to change around how the tree looks, or testing out different filters just to change the appearance of the tree without having to do any actual drawing on your own. You could of course make copies of the tree once it's done and just add apples to them, so there's more variation in how your game looks. So you could even change the colors around, so you have one image containing like 10 trees with different color variations and apples and fruits in them, if you want some variation to your graphic. And I notice as I'm drawing here that the options or settings for this image is different than the MV one, so it's different to draw somehow. So I might mess up the graphic a bit, but hey, to be completely honest, I'm not sure what it is, but it just feels different when I'm drawing on these MSet images than when I'm drawing on the MV ones. That's what I'm saying. Okay, so let's just delete the tree and let's try to draw something. And I will try as good as I can now just to explain how I usually draw the graphic, even though it feels differently now drawing somehow. I will try my best, okay? And for deleting the tree, just use the square tool, just mark it, and then click delete. And then draw a similar tree within the 4 grids, as I'm doing here. First of all, just draw the silhouette of the tree with 100% opacity. Once that's done, just fill in with 100 opacity the color you want to be the main color of the tree. And the same goes actually for the tree branch. So just go ahead and draw that. Actually, you can just use the circle tool to get that rounded bottom. Just find the right position for it, and then just use the bucket tool. There you go, and then once that's done, just make sure to fill it all in, so it's just one color. So you can create a tree that looks just like this one, but you don't have to. I will give this one out for free anyway on the Discord channel, but if you're making it on your own, just try and do what I'm doing here, like putting out the lighter color on the left side, the darker color on the right side, and start basic, and then gradually add more details as you go. It's really hard for me to explain, but it feels so differently somehow to draw on these set images, and I can't really explain or figure out why it feels like that. I'm not sure if they have a different setting built in the image file or something that does something with GIMP, or maybe I've just misclicked some key bindings and I don't know. But anyway, just add some shadows, some lighting effects on the tree. Even if you're feeling extra artsy, you could add like leaves and shadows for the leaves, and just add in, but start simple first, and then gradually, as I said, add all of the details. The images might actually be smaller than the MV ones, because somehow 1 pixel to me now looks a lot bigger than they would when I'm working with MV images. So that might be the case. I will look into it. So when you have 100% opacity color as the main color on the tree, or whatever object or character you are creating, I find it very nice or effective to just, when adding details, I turn the opacity down to a lot less, like something in between of 30 to 50% opacity, because each time I click and draw details, I can, like, each time I click and then draw with the mouse, each time I do it, I add a different shade. I'm really not sure how to explain this in English, and I'm really sorry about that. But just try it out. It sort of feels like painting when you do it like that. Actually, very similarly to how it feels to use the smudge tool to just spread the colors around. So it looks more fluid, or more painting-ish. Just experiment and do like I do here in the video. But it does feel so differently using the smudge tool than it would if I now had worked on a RPG Maker MV image. And I'm not sure, as I said, why that feels like that. So yeah, like now I can't use the smudge tool on that darker shade of brown. I can't even use it on the darker shade of green inside of the tree itself. And normally I would be able to smudge that around, adding a shadowy effect. So I can draw the shadowy shade of green, but as soon as I try to use the smudge tool, nothing happens. Look, well, something happened there, but nothing like it usually does. but I can use it on the lighter shade somehow. So the tree might end up looking worse than I expected it to, but maybe I will just try to repair it somehow, and then the free version you can get will be the better looking one. And now we just use this for the sake of the tutorial, and yeah. So the details, I'm sorry, I won't be able to make as good as I expected to. Look! What the? Almost cursed. So, hopefully you currently are working on a better looking tree than I am. But hey, stuff happens. But anyway, I sorry, I will be able to show you how you import it to RPG Maker and how that stuff works. We will also have a look at grass and other things later in the video, so just stick with me. And even the cartoon filter acts differently now. There's definitely something wrong. Well, at least something I'm not aware of, so the cartoon filter would spread out a lot more evenly, usually than it's doing now. So it might be that these images are just far smaller than what I'm used to working with, or I don't know, maybe if you do know, you could comment. And it's very hard to use the smudge tool, so it might be my settings on GIMP. I might have just messed them around, so if it works for you, very good. You shouldn't focus too much on this. All you should be focusing on is making a good looking fucking tree. Okay? Capiche? Okay, I would just fast forward a bit, but I will let you could watch if you like to, and just try to repair the tree as much as I can. And I'll be back with you later in the video. Okay, now that the image will tree look a bit better, it's important we can export it. Remember to name all of your new tilesets something special that you can remember, and also so you don't overwrite any of the RTP if you want to use that for something later. And so then we need to go back into the game project in RPG Maker, change the old B image to the new one. So locate the new exported image, and there you go, the tree is there, and it also have the correct attributions because we copied the outside tile set earlier, so you don't need to change that around, and we also changed the exact image that used to be a tree. So be sure to check if the stars and cross and circles are correct. Now we can just name it something, and so you will. It's important that you name your tile set so they are easier to find and work with. And here is the new tree. So mission accomplished. I'm not sure if they actually look better than the ones that are already in the RTP, but that shouldn't matter. What should matter is that the game look like something you have made, and the game should look different than the other games, so your game will stand out. If somebody does a let's play or whatever of your game and your game looks different, they will notice right away and you usually compliment you even though your art looks like shit, just because you put in the effort. to make it look unique. So don't be too hard on yourself. And now we can have a look at the grass, so we don't, so we can get the RTP one out of the way. And small details like that, grass, pays a huge difference in the appearance of your game overall. Or maybe not, since now GIMP seems to have crashed. Uh, so maybe GIMP was the problem when I tried to draw the tree. I don't know. I don't know. Or maybe it seems to be working. I don't know. Or maybe not. I can't click anything. Well, well, at least this tutorial is completely honest, and I include my F-ups. So, how has your day been? The GIMP ain't working, so. Yeah, here's Driftwood Gaming. If you want tutorials, check out him. So, an excuse to give out a shout out. Also, check out Gull. He got very nice plugins. I can leave links in the description below. And we got it working again. So, if you don't want to draw anything, just play around with the colors. Making the grass darker would make it appear a lot taller, or at least very different from the color you have in the standard RTP normally. The noise reduction filter can actually drastically change the appearance of the grass as well. It often works very well on like rock walls, grass, and like that sort of images, not characters, at least not smaller sprites. So without drawing anything, just playing around with the filters a bit, you can already see that we've changed the appearance of the grass quite drastically. So you can always just experiment, testing out different things, and maybe you'll find something you like without having to draw anything. Oh yeah, and sometimes it doesn't look as if the changes are there after you export the image. So if that happens, just save and close and reopen RPG Maker, or maybe just trying to click on a different map and then back to the map you want to work with. Sometimes the issue is that it haven't loaded yet, so there's nothing wrong, you just have to do one of those two things. So yeah, here are the new grass. It looks a bit shabby and it doesn't auto tile quite well, but if you make really simple graphic, that would actually solve the issue. Also, because auto tiling is very easy, so if you make the grass and roads, etc., very basic, like one or two colored, it's easier to make the auto tiling work properly. Yeah, and you could also use the smudge tool on the grass. Oh yeah, by the way, make sure that the image no grid is set to 48 by 48 and show grid, so it's easier to work with. And then you can mark just the area with the square tool of the grass and use the smudge tool to play around and make the grass look the way you like. Oh yeah, and don't use the smudge tool inwards when you're doing this, because then you can drag some of the tiles next to it. So just do it outwards when you try to smudge. And as I just said earlier, just now, if you're making this yourself and you don't have a lot of experience, you can just make it really basic. And I just think I realized what's going on with the GIMP or the images in RPG Maker MC. I think maybe they have more layers to them, and that's why it looks as if the tools I'm using are not working as they used to do, or usually do. Yeah, but you can make it very basic like this. Just have a plain color of green and maybe add some small, I don't know, some grass straws, or use your imagination, and just make it basic, because this would auto tile very easily, especially if you do the road similarly, like one color in the road that's just like a square, and then a little bit of grass on the sides. I did actually show how you do that with basic graphic in a previous video that I have for RPG Maker NV, so I can leave a link in the description if you want to have a look at that. Sorry if my English just breaks from time to time. It's very hard to do a long take, not being a native English speaker, and try to make a goddamn tutorial. So just bear with me. If there's something you don't understand, or something I pronounce awkwardly, just like I just did, just comment if there's something that was confusing. But anywho, here I'm doing the noise reduction filter, and you can see that the road actually drastically changes the graphics. So it went from being the standard RTP one to becoming something that looks as if it's from another game. Only that the colors are the same though. And I don't really have a plan here with the grass. I'm just doing stuff randomly. So if it looks like I know what I'm doing now, I'm not. I'm just experimenting around doing random stuff just to make the point. Well, to make a point that you can do the same. And just experiment around, try new things, use controls set if you regret something, and just experiment until you find your way of doing this. The RPG Maker RTP with edits can look really good, and it does actually look good as it is, but the problem is there are millions of other games looking exactly like yours. So the point about this series, the beginner's guide to custom art, is that you should just learn basic small things that will help you create something that looks more unique to you. And here the grass didn't auto tile very well, but it looks quite okay. The road looks quite okay. You can see what I mean with the auto tiling here. The auto tiling is a bit awkward, but hey, it works. But you should really try to just stand out. I came across a very good-looking RPG Maker game recently that I wanted to give a shout out to as well. And I will leave a link in the description just to show you how different your game can really look if you just work hard or work at all with the graphics. So definitely check that out. It's in the description. I think it was called Divine Waste. And I'm not saying you have to make something that look that good or that fancy, but it's just to make a point. Besides, the guy making it deserves some credit. As long as you have copies, don't be afraid to just delete a lot of the images on the RTP one and make room for your own. If you would happen to lose the RTP one, you can just start a new game project, and you will, inside of that game's folder, you will be able to locate all of the RTP again, so you can always back it up. Just use the square tool, make copies of the tree, and now we will try to make some variations to them. So you just click Control C to copy, and then Control V to paste them afterwards. And now that you have 3 different trees, try to change around the colors on them so they will stand out from each other a bit. And since we deleted an image, well, a part of the image that's not meant for a tree looking like this, you will have to later change the, I don't know what to call them, the crosses and circles and stars to be the way they should. I will show you what I mean later, just watch. Add some apples, maybe. They're easy to create. Make sure to use a lighter shade of the fruit color on top left, and maybe a darker on the bottom right, but you don't have to. Ooh, the tree looks very bad if you flip it, so don't do that. If you made something that looks like mine, I would. You could try to use the scale tool. You'll locate it on tools. If you right click after you have marked the image with a square tool, and just try and find a new shape. That would also add to all the variations of the trees we are making. Okay, so now let us export the image. And again, here, now the image haven't loaded yet, so it's not that it isn't working. You just need to either swap to a new map and then back to the one you're working on, or save and close the project and reopen. And here we got 3 different types of trees, and already if you have 3 different trees yourself, your game stands out a lot, because many RPG Maker games actually just use one type of each tree. So, congratulations, buddy. Or budette. But Zelda for the Super Nintendo or Super Famicom, I'm not sure what it's called where you live, but they would also usually just, well, similar games like that would also often just use one type of tree, so don't be offended, please. But anywho, one of the trees didn't work properly now, and that's because we haven't set the stars and crosses and circles the way they should be, because we deleted an image that would have different attributions than the tree we replaced it with. So go in there and just put the stars on top of the tree so you can walk behind it, and the cross at the bottom so you can't walk behind the bottom of the tree or on top of the bottom of the tree. So anyway, that I think that would do it for the tutorial on Tilesets. I will make more. It will be 3 more videos in this series of what was it called again? Beginner's Guide to Custom Art. And don't be afraid to ask for other tutorials if there's something you want to know, or comment if there's anything specific about custom art that you need to know or see a video about. Also, all the cool music in the background is made by Haakon Davidsen, the music composer for A Broken Tale, and that's our game. You can follow A Broken Tale on our Discord channel, and you will also be able to ask me questions about RPG Maker or whatever. There were all of the free RTP that I make during this series. I will put up on the Discord channel, so you sort of have to join to get the stuff, you know. But don't feel bad if you just leave right after. I won't judge you or get mad or sad or any of that. Yeah, so this is not the final episode on Tilesets. So in the other upcoming videos, I will show you more of Tilesets, like bushes, rocks, and stuff. I will also do more of the characters and character animation. So I will make a video. I think next video will be making the hero from scratch for the game and make him animate. So if this video was helpful, you can hit the like button. If this was confusing, smash the dislike button. And if you want to see something specific, you could join the channel or comment here what you want to know. So, this will do it for this time, and I hope to see you in another video. Have a good one.